So we know that Phil has said that this song was inspired by the film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It's a kind of a weird song, and I've talked about this when we reviewed the album, and it lyrically it's weird. It's actually musically one of my favorite Phil Collins songs, top 5 favorite Phil Collins songs. It's one of those songs I think could just go on forever. That 909 drum beat, which, fun fact, that 909 drum beat, you can probably tell, is the theme song of this show. I had this 909 replica machine. I don't have it anymore. And I programmed in that beat and then built a new song for the theme song of this show. So fun little fact there. I really do love this song. I think it's really, really well done. There's a live version of it. I want to talk about it in a second. However, I just want to talk about the meaning of the song because it's the only thing that I don't totally love. Because Phil used this to close every concert, it was always about just kind of like going home, like all of these great experiences you have in life, but there's nothing beats going home. And even the music video conveys him touring and traveling and just wanting to go home. But the lyrics actually are talking about someone potentially in an insane asylum and that his keepers don't respect him. They don't think he knows what's going on, but ultimately he does. He is aware of what's going on. He just wants to go home and to be let out of this insane asylum. Anyway, I think there's more to it. It's a little more complex, and Phil is always just kind of like throwing whatever lyrics come to mind to the music. He probably didn't know this would become an iconic song. He probably didn't know at the time of writing it that he would close every concert with it for the rest of his life. Maybe he would have made it a little bit more generic, kind of like Find a Way to My Heart. That's the only thing that bothers me a little bit. I honestly wish I just didn't know that. I wish I didn't know that because I'm listening to the lyrics and I think this could apply to somebody who's traveling, who's had to be away for work or is in the military and just wants to get home to his family. You know, I just kind of wish that I kept that in my mind, knowing now that it's got a little bit more of an eerie Halloween feel to it. And I kind of wish it just takes it away from me a little bit when I hear the lyrics. I kind of apply it to that situation. Anyway, I still really, really love the song. Let's talk about the music video. The music video is interesting because it takes Phil in all of these geographic locations from New York City to Japan to Paris, starting off in London. Very cool in that regard. But how funny is it that this was actually filmed for real? I think it was filmed probably on the No Jacket Required tour because this was one of the later singles on the album. And so wherever he was touring, they could just get a shot of him singing a line of the song and they pieced it all together. Hollywood as well, Graceland, very cool. How funny though, that they actually had to film this on film back in those days when today we could shoot a music video like this just as effectively on a blue screen in about 10 minutes. In fact, he actually does that on the music video Can't Stop Loving You. And green screen, blue screen technology wasn't that great back then in the early 2000s. And you can really tell. Whereas like here, there's beautiful shots of him with the Twin Towers behind him and the beautiful shots of him walking through a crowd in Japan. That's really exciting. Kind of just highlights how lame green screens are. I've always felt it to be a little bit of a pet peeve of mine that he's never considered closing a show with anything other than Take Me Home. Correct me if I'm wrong. If there was post No Jacket Required era shows that he didn't close with this song and instead close with like other than like small little TV appearances or little gigs. But I mean, what about closing with In the Air Tonight? You know, that could be really cool. Closing with that and then maybe doing a little encore of like, You Know What I Mean, or something like a little bit more contained. Or maybe closing with this song and then coming back for an encore and doing something a little bit more heartfelt, like Find a Way to My Heart. I don't know. I'm just saying Phil didn't deviate from his set lists very much over the years. Same thing with Genesis. Some bands will do a different set list for every show. Other bands just stick to the same set list with like one or two different switches. I get that. It's a big, comprehensive show. Taylor Swift's doing the same thing. Peter Gabriel's doing the same thing. I get it. I know Phil has always said that like people coming out to see him want to hear Sussudio and Easy Lover and Against All Odds and Take Me Home. And so he could never fathom not playing those songs just in case somebody's coming out to a show to see him for the very first time and don't get to hear their favorite song. So that's always been a pet peeve of mine. I've talked about it before on this show. And again, I love Take Me Home. I would be disappointed if I didn't hear it. It's just like play with it in the set a little bit. It doesn't have to be the closer. I know it feels like it should be, but it doesn't have to be. So it reached the top 10. It peaked at number 7. Rolling Stone ranked Take Me Home number 5 on their list of 10 best Phil Collins songs. I would say the same thing. Actually, for me, I think it's like number 3 or number 4. There's been a lot of remixes of it. I think I have the 12-inch version, and there's like an extended dance version. So it's the last single from the album. What do we have before this? We have Don't Lose My Number, Sussudio, One More Night. Okay, no. Sussudio is the first single in the US. Okay, great song, great beat, great melody, great way to close a concert, kind of creepy lyrics. Let me know what you think of this song, Take Me Home. It's got to be a meaningful song for a lot of us diehard fans. Is that not true? Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button for exclusive videos, behind-the-scenes content, and to have your say on future topics before I film. Have a look at our Patreon page. Thanks for watching.